What's going on? Thanks for checking in. Got my guy Zach in the building, who is a professional catcher. He's gonna take us through an everyday warm-up routine that you catchers should be doing. So go ahead, introduce yourself. What do we got today, brother?
Yeah, here we go, guys. We'll go through a little bit of a daily warm-up. I'm a catcher with the Lincoln Salt Dogs in the American Association. And we're gonna start with a mini band here and then work into some really athletic movements. Not too heavy of a band here. As you can see, you can kind of have some give to it. And we're gonna wrap it around our ankles here just to provide some tension. We can present a target and we're just gonna start to warm up walking forward. We wanna be smooth, try to keep our heads still, target presented. And from here, we're gonna just take some nice easy steps, start to get things rolling, and then we can also go backwards. Remember, this is a warm up here. We're not trying to kill our legs. From here, we're gonna start working into a lateral movement, butt down. We wanna almost glide through the air. Reach, pull, reach, pull.
And then just one set of 5 yards there for that. It's plenty.
Yeah, that's a good spot to start. Like I said, it's a warm up, right? We're getting ready to catch. We're not trying to overdo it and kill our legs there. Now, we're gonna start with some really dynamic movements with our shin guards. So the first one, you're gonna reach with your heel and pull. Big chest, feel a pull in the hammy, and go. Pull in the hammy, and go. Really dig that heel in and pull. So now we have the same type of feel, but this is for our guys who are really working at a one knee stances, really need to work on some lateral movements here. So we're gonna start right knee down, and this is gonna be like a pivot point where it can kind of move here. We're gonna drill our right heel, or left heel, I'm sorry, into the ground and pull. Pull. Reach, hold it, feel a good hamstring stretch, pull. What's great about this stuff is you're building strength and mobility together as one through the movement patterns versus just stretching and then it not translating over into your movements. Same thing on the opposite side. Sink, stretch, pull. Sink, stretch, pull. Once again, take your time through it. You don't need to overdo it. Just kind of get the body going and the hips awake. Good. Now, this is gonna be like a world's greatest stretch. I'm sure a lot of you guys have done this before, but instead of adding a T-spine reach, we're gonna add a little bit of a crawling action to really feel your hips sink down and just really get athletic. It's similar to a bear crawl. I'll show you guys here. The object there, again, like I've been saying, I'll keep saying it, take your time. If you feel a spot that's a little tighter, sit there, sink, and then go into the next rep. Good number there, 5 each side, 4 or 5. Like I said, take your time, find a good number that works for you. It's not really about the number. It's about making sure you're ready to roll. Now we're gonna hit, I like to call this the seal, because you kind of look like you're in a seal position. You're gonna have your feet flat, knees a good length apart, kind of feel a stretch in your groin area, big chest, and from here, we are gonna slide our knees, but we're gonna slide our knees by pulling with our hands. So it's gonna look like this. Here, we're really targeting the groin and hip areas. You find a spot, maybe on the left side, right side, kind of sit, feel a stretch, alternate. Now that our hips are pretty loose, warmed up, you should have a little sweat going. That's a good reminder that you kind of got things going. Now we're gonna start priming the system a little bit more with some different pogos and drop squats. So the first one I'll show you is a drop squat. Start here, and we're gonna sink into it. Now that you're pretty warm, these should feel pretty good. Start presenting the target. And then from here, we're gonna transition into a little bit of a pogo, but the catch here is we're gonna start in our secondary stance and hit about, good numbers, probably 10. Pretty challenging move here, and I think it really gets you kind of ready to go, the final step here. And then from there, after the warm-up's complete, like I said, body's ready, you got a sweat going, hips are feeling loose, mobile, warmed up. Now we'll start working into our daily receiving and our daily blocking work. So here we go, guys. Now that the movement prep is done, hips are loose, we're moving into our daily vitamins, as I like to call them, for our receiving. So the balls we're using here, just your normal, your drive line Plyo balls that pitchers throw. Our heaviest here is the green one, and then from there we'll work into some different weights, 7 ounce, 11 ounce. These are tap conditioning balls. The biggest thing here, you don't need drive line balls. You don't really need any specific weights, right? The best thing here is variability. We want to have some heavy, we want to have some light, and some in between. That way we're getting used to catching different weights, and it's challenging our load and our movement up through the baseball. The biggest thing here with the receiving, I'm gonna start with a wrist weight, and I'm also gonna start with my glove on. You see a lot of guys maybe do a lot of barehanded receiving, which is great. I think that is a great place to start. However, as we kind of progress and we get better, we always catch with a glove on. So we've got to understand pocket awareness, kind of where we want to be catching the baseball. And I feel as though if we work on that in our daily work with the mitt, it's just going to get better. So from here, we're going to start with our sign-giving stance. Okay, say for example, we're going to be given a fastball. Then from there, we're going to nestle into our receiving position where our chest is a little bit over and I'm on the 4 feet of my feet right here, balls on my feet. From there, we are going to present a target, load, and catch. Present, load, catch. Present, load, catch. One sweeping motion up through the ball, almost like we're riding an escalator upward. Notice from there, my chest is over, which is like a good hinge position, and I'm loading from my delt, from my shoulder, and I'm coming up through the ball. My wrist and elbow are almost staying in the same position, slightly flexed, and we're able to adjust. So like I kind of said in the warm-up as well, here, there's no specific number, right? You kind of want to work through the movements, work some different pitch locations. I'll have Juice kind of work inner half here. Hit every location, right? Hit every stance. I'll show you guys some other stances here. But get your work in, take your time through it. Everything is one sweeping motion. Head is still. So after you get a good feel, you feel like your movement up through the ball is smooth, your load is smooth, then you can start transitioning into a short hop and a plyo blend. So the plyo will be in the air and the baseball will be a short hop. Now, you might be wondering why we're using a short hop. The short hop allows you to control your load and stay at the bottom and then work up through it. The short hop will be very difficult for you guys to handle if you're bleeding up or bleeding forward early. I'll show you guys here. Right there, see, I bled forward and it kind of caught the bottom part of my mitt. Better, clean pocket. Little early there, better timing. The ones that are tipping off, I'm just rushing the movement early, right? I want to be able to kind of relax, slow, and smooth up through. If that load is rushed, the movement to the baseball will be rushed as well. Think about it when you're hitting, right? Slow, controlled load allows you to be on time and allows for adjustability. If the load is rushed at the plate, you're gonna rush towards the ball and you're not gonna be on time as often. Now Juice is gonna flip some plyos in the air. Good. Now from here, after you kind of work a little bit of plyo, a little bit of short hop, you can blend the two together. So I'll have Juice demonstrate that, where we'll pick 3 random plyos and 3 baseballs, and he's just gonna alternate 1 plyo in the air and 1 short hop without telling me. So you give your sign, nestle into your receiving stance, present, load, catch. Present, load, catch. Present, load, catch. Good. So from there, once you kind of get the pattern, the wrist weight really helps you kind of feel your delt and feel your shoulder. It's not crazy heavy, but I'll show you guys here. It'll kind of wrap around your thumb and sit nicely on your wrist. If you have one that doesn't have the thumb, you can just kind of connect it here. It won't go around your thumb, but it'll still do the trick. It's not, I mean, I don't know exactly how heavy it is, but it's enough weight where your shoulder has to take over and your wrist or elbow are not receiving the baseball. The next thing we're gonna use is the same mini band that we were using in the warm-up. Not super heavy, just enough tension. And from here, we're gonna put this around our right foot, as so. Right foot, right ankle. From here, we'll put our glove on. And we'll start same kind of progression. We'll start with the plyos, and then we'll work to the short hops, and then from there, we'll work into the blend. Present, load, up through. Present. The load happens where the band is gonna lose some tension. You're gonna kind of feel a burn in your shoulder. And then from there, we're gonna work up through that same pattern to work up through the baseball. So as you see, loses some tension, and then we're gonna work up through that shape. And Juice was flipping balls that were simulating a fastball middle away, so that's the shape we're working on right there. I'll now show you guys how you can kind of work that same shape from an inside fastball. Because at the end of the day, we want to be working on shapes that are on the edges of the plate and not just down the middle. Pitches down the middle, we don't really have to worry about making them look anything, crazy. It's a fastball down the middle. It's got a lot of plate. The umpire knows it's a strike. You know it's a strike. You don't have to do anything crazy there. The pitches we're trying to work on are on the edges. They're called shadow pitches. Pitches that are ball strikes. Those are the ones we really need to work on. So now from here, I'm setting up for a middle in fastball, and I'm gonna be loading towards this knee and working up through that shape. One smooth, sweeping motion. Now Juice will do the same thing, but he'll be short hopping these baseballs, and we'll go back to the pitch that is on the edge away. Good. You guys can kind of see from your angle, majority of these balls are hitting me in the pocket and just kind of sticking. I want to make it kind of clear, I'm not trying to catch the baseball. I am matching the shape, matching the plane, and I am meeting it with my pocket. And the ball will naturally stick if we catch it in the pocket. If we try to squeeze, or catch the ball is gonna rattle around or pop out. So it's crucial when you're doing this daily work to really feel that and understand kind of where your pocket is and how that feels. At the end of the day, I'm gonna reiterate a little bit. These are shadow pitches. We're trying to work these back to the strike zone. In the beginning, I kind of started with more center cut, right? We're getting warmed up, we're getting our hand-eye, we're gonna start more center, and then as we get going and the load gets even better and our timing gets better, we start to progress into those shadow pitches, because that's where we're gonna make our money. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to our Plyo short hop blend. We're gonna start with pitches middle away here. We're always leading with our pocket, not our wrist, not our elbow, pocket. Now I will say, not every rep is gonna be perfect. There'll be some reps where you feel like you go forward a little bit, maybe your wrist takes over, the plyo kind of pulls your glove. That is okay, right? This is our daily work. This is getting us ready to catch in the game. This is us working out some kinks and just staying on top of it. Every rep will not be perfect. Also, we're trying to work a pattern here, a consistent pattern. So when I'm catching balls away, the umpire knows how I'm gonna catch those, and that he knows it's gonna be a consistent pattern where I'm trying to work here. That way, when there's a pitch on the edge, maybe it's a ball, he calls it a ball, but maybe if I'm consistent here over and over, eventually later in the game, that one that is on the edge you called a ball earlier will be a strike. And it goes back to our work here where we're working on a consistent pattern, right? A consistent pattern, because that will allow these pitches to eventually turn into strikes. Now to finish up, we're gonna get rid of the mini band and we're just gonna go short hop or in the air. Whoever's feeding you is just gonna mix it up and you're gonna work your different stances. Now, to make it clear, kind of how I've been showing you guys, make sure you start by giving a sign and then we nestle or transition into our receiving stance, and from there, we will receive. Remember, like I said, this is getting us ready for the game. Good. I can't reiterate it enough. Take your time through this. Simulate game-like patterning, right? You see how there's a rhythm and there's a timing to giving your sign, nestling into your receiving stance, presenting a target, loading, and then working up through the baseball. Those are different checkpoints and different steps along the way that you need to work on and make sure that you find your own rhythm and timing within that. That'll take some time, and that is what we're working on here in our daily receiving work.
Hey man, that was really good. Appreciate you coming through. It's always good to look, right? So a pitcher, they're not just gonna show up and start throwing, right? They have a process, they have a routine to get them ready to go in game. Same thing like I always say for hitters. You shouldn't just hop in and start taking BP and expect it to transfer to the game. You need to have a certain process in place. So why should that be any different for a catcher, especially when you're in those end range, that deep squat positions? You need to make sure you're ramping up the right way so you can put yourself in those positions to move dynamically.
Yeah, and I think Summers, that's great, man. I can't stress it enough, right? Like he said, we're in these deep squat positions, these end range positions where we're trying to move laterally, we're moving up and down. So we need to really make sure in our warm-up, we are moving dynamically and we are priming our body to move in and out of these end ranges. If we sit around and we just do static stretching before the game, our body isn't gonna be primed and ready to move in that way. So you're gonna see a drop in your performance. Now, the same thing goes, right, with these daily vitamins as far as your receiving goes. if you're hitting these receiving drills and stuff like that on a daily basis, it's just like taking your multivitamin, right? And over time, you're gonna see a large increase in your performance and just overall pattern of receiving. And therefore, you're gonna be in a great place. But if you do these once in a while and you kind of take some time there to do it and not do it, you're not really gonna see those consistent results.
Yeah, if you think, right, that routine probably takes 5-10 minutes if you're rolling through it quick.
Yeah, without all the talking, it's quick, man.
Yeah. So go ahead, hit that 5-minute warm-up routine. You know, hit your daily vitamins, like you said, and that's going to put you in a really good spot, you know, and you're going to make a lot of pitchers happy.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, our job, right, is catcher. We want to present pitches and catch the baseball. And at the end of the day, like Summer said, that's going to make pitchers happy. And if you make pitchers happy on a consistent basis, you'll be able to play for a really long time.
So where can these cats find you? You know, he's doing lessons now in the off season here at Summers Method Performance. So you can do one of two things, right? You can reach out to me on our Instagram page. Go ahead, just message me in all caps, Zach, if you want to work with them. Or
you guys can text me at 484-667-6260, or you could follow me on Twitter at Z_Miller, capital Miller 22. You guys will find me on there as well.
Well, hey, that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in. You know the shtick. I pump out 2 of these YouTube videos per week, so do me a favor and subscribe for me. I appreciate you. We'll catch you next week. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Summers.
Game rewards the grind. It knows how much you invested.